talking about today?
Okay, so we're talking about Yom Yerushalayim because tonight is Yom Yerushalayim. Okay, so I wanted to say this is actually a extension of our series on Israel, on the land of Israel, because the center of the land of Israel is Yerushalayim. You know, it says a very interesting thing. It says that Israel is the highest place in the world, and that Yerushalayim is the highest place in Israel. So everybody asks, there's actually much higher places. There's actually much higher places in the world. There's Mount Everest is higher than, and even in Israel, Yerushalayim is certainly not the highest place. There's the Haman, there's mountains.
So you
we do approximately. So the Kuzari has an amazing commentary on this. What's it mean? What's it mean that it's the highest place in the world? So he says like this. He says that when if you have a fruit like an apple hanging from the tree. So what's the top of the apple? The top of the apple is the place where it's connected to the tree, right? So the world, so it came out of nothing, right? So it came out of, before there was zero creation, and then there was a tiny bud, and then from that bud came the rest of the world. So that first bud out of the beyond, out of the infinite, out of God's existence itself. So what was that first bud? That was Yerushalayim. And so the entire, it was like I can imagine like a guy like blowing up a bubble. So like that was the first bud of something from nothing, and then that's the stem where it's connected to the other side, to the tree, to the infinite, to the world of spirituality, and so that everything else is just coming out of that. It's expanding from that. So you look at the entire existence, the entire galaxy, the entire world, and at the top of the world is actually Yerushalayim, because that's the place where it's coming from. That's the place where it's connected to its source. So if you think about the word Yerushalayim, it rhymes with like a bunch of other words, like Nalayim and Shumayim and Grabayim and Mechnasayim and Oznayim and Inayim. Right? What's the common denominator of all these things?
Ayim.
Right? What does ayim usually mean? Plural. It means two. Right? You have two eyes, you have two ears, anything that's two. So you say ayim at the end. So the question is, what's the two Yerushalayim? Why do we say Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim, there's only one Yerushalayim, right? So why do we say Yerushalayim? Why is Yerushalayim a plural? Okay? So the Gemara says an amazing thing in Tainis Daf Hey. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Hashem says, in the Zohar it says even more strong, it says that Hashem swore. Hashem swears that Lo avo Yerushalayim shomala ad she'avo Yerushalayim shomata. That he swears that I won't enter the Yerushalayim of above until I enter the Yerushalayim of below. Okay, so there's two Yerushalayim. There's the Yerushalayim of below, and there's Yerushalayim of above. Okay, so try to understand what does this mean. Like the Yerushalayim of below apparently means our Yerushalayim. Means like what we know. Means like here, maybe like the old city, right? But what does this mean that this is Yerushalayim of below and Yerushalayim of above? So now I want to get to the teachings of Rabbi Nachman, that to try to understand what this means. And so Rabbi Nachman, when he talks about Yerushalayim, so he says that Yerushalayim is connected to the heart. Why? Because it says in the pasuk in Yeshayahu that Dabru Alev Yerushalayim. It talks about Yerushalayim as having a heart. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem, that the prophet Yeshayahu cries out, that speak to the heart of Yerushalayim. So Yerushalayim is the heart. Okay, so what does it mean that Yerushalayim is the heart? It means it's the heart of the world. Okay, so what is the heart? What is the heart of the world? What is the heart of the world? What's its points? What are we referring to? What are we really referring to when we're talking about the heart of the world? So to understand what Rabbi Nachman is referring to, so I want to bring down another thing from Rabbi Nachman that unfortunately I forgot to bring my book, so hopefully it's on my phone, and that's in Rabbi Nachman's stories in Sipur Messias. So in the last story that Rabbi Nachman told, so this is the story of the 7 beggars. And Rabbi Nachman said about the story of the 7 beggars that if he only came down into this world to teach this story, it would have been worthwhile. And it's a very complicated story. It's a very complicated story, and it's a very long story. I think like when I was teaching this here, like it took me like 30 or 40 weeks to get through the story. And so I want to share with you a little paragraph in the story that happened. This happens on the 3rd day of the story. And the story, the background of the story is really interesting. It's a story about happiness, about how to become happy, how to be happy, and it's about how that there's these 7 beggars that each one is missing something. Each one is lacking something. One of them is blind. One of them is deaf. One of them doesn't have a speech impediment. One of them doesn't have arms. One of them doesn't have legs. One of them has a crooked neck. One of them has a crooked back. So they all have different problems with that. And 3rd day, here we go. So in the context of the story, there's this couple that they get married, and basically in the context of the story, so he tells them a story, and it says like this: there is a mountain, and on the mountain stands a stone, and from the stone emerges a spring. Okay. So there's a mountain, and on the mountain there's a stone, and there's a spring coming out of the stone. Now, everything has a heart, and the entire world also has a heart. And the heart of the world is a complete structure with face, hands, feet, etc. But even the nail of the foot of the world's heart is hardier. In Yiddish it was hartziker. That it's hardier than the heart of anything else. So, because if you're in the heart of the world, so even the unhardiest thing of the heart of the world is hardier than a regular heart of us. Okay, so so the mountain with the stone and the spring, these stands at one end of the world, and the heart of the world stands at the other end of the world. And the heart stands facing the spring, desiring and hoping continuously, exceedingly, that it should come to the spring. And the longing and desire of the heart to come to the spring is extraordinary. And it screams nonstop, the heart, to come to the source. And the source longs for the heart too. Now, the heart has 2 things that make it weak. One, because the sun pursues it exceedingly and scorches it, because it always yearns and desires to come to the source. And the second thing is that tires the heart is due to the yearning and desiring. That the heart constantly yearns and wishes. It keeps pouring out its soul to the source and screaming and so forth, as above, so as to come to the source. For the heart is always standing, facing the source, and screams, Nu, Gewalt, and keeps on yearning most exceedingly for the source, as mentioned. Okay, so however, when the heart needs to rest a bit, so as to draw a little breath, so then there comes a giant bird and spreads its wings over it, shielding it from the sun, and then the heart gets a little rest. But even then, while it's resting, it's also facing the spring and still longs for it. But since it longs so much for the source, why does it not go to the source? When it says source over here, it means the spring. It means the spring over here. I'm not sure why he calls it the source. That he's yearning for the spring. Okay, the heart is yearning for the spring. So why doesn't it just go? But the problem is like this, that he wants to go close, but as soon as he wants to go close, so then if he would go further, then he would no longer see its peak. Because from far away, so you can see the peak of the mountain, and the spring is on the peak of the mountain. So if he's far away, then he can see the peak of the mountain, but as soon as he would go to the bottom of the mountain, then he would no longer be able to see the top of the mountain. And if he wouldn't be able to see the top of the mountain, so what would be? So then it wouldn't be able to look at the spring, then it would die and would just immediately pass out, because its entire life source is only from the spring. So when it stands facing the mountain, then it sounds where the spring is. So then it's good. But immediately when it wants to go to the mountain, so then he no longer sees the top, and then he would pass out. So that's why the heart can't go to the spring, and therefore it stands facing the spring, longing and screaming without cease to be able to come to it, as mentioned before. Okay, so this is the story of the heart and the spring. It's a famous metaphor. It's been argued that this is one of the most poetic pieces in the entire writings of Rabbi Nachman. So you have on one side of the world, one side of the universe. So this heart, and the heart is yearning for the spring, and on the other hand, you have the spring, which is yearning for the heart, and they want to reach each other. So the spring, this is the source of life. This is the source of life, and so what is the heart? What is this? So Rabbi Nachman says that the heart is all about yearning. That what we do with our heart, is we yearn and long, and this is our connection to our source. This is the if the Rebbe Nachman is saying that Yerushalayim is the heart of the world, so what is the heart of the world? The heart of the world is the place in the world that is constantly yearning and longing for the source, for the spring. And the spring is on top of the mountain, and this is the Yerushalayim Shomala, and this is the Yerushalayim, Jerusalem of above, and it's from this place that they're just this amazing, this tragic romance that they're just yearning for each other, and the wish that they could reach each other, but they can't, because at the moment that they would try to reach each other, then he would just die, and it would just be over. So this is a crazy story, and so Rabbi Nachman is saying that this is what Yerushalayim is all about. Yerushalayim is the city of longing. It's the city of yearning, and the essence of being in Yerushalayim is that I just can't live without my source, and my eyes are completely on the spring, which is giving me life, and I can't reach it, and I wish I could reach it, and if only I could reach it, then I would just be satisfied. But it's built in that I'll never get there. Okay, so you ever this is what the feeling is. This is what we're supposed to be connecting to. This is like the energy of Yerushalayim is this energy of a thirst that cannot be quenched, and I wish I could be somewhere that I'm not, and I'm never going to get there, and I'm just live my entire life with this unquenchable thirst. Okay, so if you think about it, this is the now Yerushalayim. We're talking about Yerushalayim. We're talking about really like Yerushalayim is the essence of Israel. And when Moshe Rabbeinu, before he died, so he went. Hashem told him that that you'll be able to look. You'll be able to look at the land of Israel, but you won't be able to go there. And so this was his feeling. He was gazing on to the land of Israel and just wishing. He knew that there's something awesome here. He knew that there's something amazing to the land of Israel, and it's just wishing he could get there. Okay, and like all the Americans, right? So they're just like yearning, and this is that Hashem tells him, sorry, you can't go there. But this yearning was in a certain way, it was even holier than getting there. You know, there's and this is something that Rav Chalap writes in one place, that there's something more special about the yearning for Geula than the Geula itself. That as much as when we're yearning for redemption, when we're yearning for a Beis Hamikdash, so there's something so awesome in that yearning that when we have a Beis Hamikdash, that's the one thing that will be missing. And there's something just amazing about the fact that we can yearn for it, and there's something purifying about this. There's a story about Rebbe Melech Mezhensk, that he was once talking to one of his Hasidim, and it was Friday afternoon, and he saw there was a chassid that was going to the mikveh, and they were talking for a long time, and they saw him go. They saw him on the way there. And on the way there, he was all excited. And then he comes back. And so Reb Melech tells his student that, did you see that chassid, that he was so clean on the way to the mikveh and he was so dirty when he came back? So he explained afterwards that when he was going to the mikveh, so he was so yearning for purity. He felt like he was like the worst person in the world. He felt like I'm so worthless. I need such a deep fixing. I can't wait for this mikveh. It's really gonna give me exactly what I need. So you go just go away. And then he went to the mikveh, and then when he came back, so what did he feel? He felt like, wow, yeah, now I'm fixed. I'm there. And so Rabbi Melech said that when he was on the way to the mikveh, then he was clean. Because that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling of, if only I could be clean, so if only I could be pure, that feeling really cleansed him in the deepest way. And after he came back, so that feeling that now I'm good, now I made it, now I'm pure. So that feeling of that I've made it, that feeling that I'm pure, so that made him so dirty. so it was really like, so yeah, like, I mean, you can't say that he shouldn't have gone, because if he wouldn't have gone, then he wouldn't have been excited to go, right? So Yerushalayim is the city of longing, and this the city of the holiness of longing, and this feeling that this moment that I wish I could be someplace greater. So this feeling is what's purifying me, and this is precisely the energy of Yerushalayim. There's a rabbi that was killed in the Holocaust. His name was the PSS Rebbe, Reb Kamen Shapiro. So he was the Rav in the Warsaw Ghetto, and he was together with the Dvar Ram, was also Rav there, but he was Rebbe in the Warsaw Ghetto, and then he has drushes that he would give every Shabbos, like to give strength to his people there, and so before the Holocaust, there's all of his writings. It's miraculous how they were found. It was like he hid all of his writings. He hid all of his writings in these milk cartons, and then some American soldier found them, and we brought him to the American, what's it called? The guy in charge of, like, the chaplain. Thank you. He went to brought to the American chaplain of the army, and he saw that on all these manuscripts, it said that if anybody ever finds this, please send it to my brother in Israel, and that's how we have all the writings of the Pesach Tzemach. Okay? So one of the books that survived the war is a book called B'nai Machshava Tova. B'nai Machshava Tova means the children of good thoughts. Okay, what's the story with this book? So this was a special club that the Pesach Rebbe made, that he instructed his students to make this kind of club. And the idea of the club was that people should get together every week. He recommended twice a week, that they should get together twice a week to discuss their spiritual growth. Okay, and so they should get together and have accountability, and just being on top of it, being on top of it, group therapy. Right. So okay. So he writes over there that there's a bunch of criteria to join our club. One of the criteria is that our club is only for people that are really, really not okay with where they're holding spiritually. And he continues, says, I don't mean that, like, intellectually, that you know that you're not living up to your potential. If you don't feel bad for your spiritual level, even intellectually, then you're just mentally ill. Then you're just crazy. Like, I'm not talking about that. I mean that you're not welcome in our club unless emotionally you feel that you're really, really far from where you need to be. Like every once in a while, you break down crying about it, you just like sob about the fact that you're not living up to your spiritual potential, and he says that if that's not where you are, that you're just really, really not okay with your spiritual level, then please do us a favor and do yourself a favor and just leave us alone, and you do you, and we'll do us. And to be honest, I'm really not okay with the fact that you're even reading this book. Right. But like, what can I do? It's already in your hands. I can't stop you. It literally writes this, but this chabura is not meant for you. This chabura is specifically meant for people that are broken by the fact that they wish they could be in a better place. Okay, so this is the yearning of Jerusalem. This is the yearning of what we're supposed to be. What we're supposed to be feeling, that coming to Yerushalayim makes us feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be higher. I wish I could be closer. I wish I'd be more connected. And I suddenly realized that like it's very funny. I was giving a class in the the other day, and I was talking about the idea. It was an idea that I heard from one of my rabbis, Ramesh Shapiro, and he was talking about how that the real reality is the spiritual reality, and a person who's aligned with Hashem, he's actually alive. A person who's not aligned with Hashem, so he's not really alive. And it's like a person can live in an imaginary alternative reality, and so I remember like. When I heard these things from Shapiro, so I remember that my response was, that, oh my gosh, like I'm not really alive. Oh my gosh, I'm not really in touch with reality. I'm living a fake life. I'm living a fake reality. I need to get with it. And when I gave this class, so all of them, the way they took this class was that, Rabbi, are you saying that my friends, that they're not religious? Are you saying that they're not really real? Are you?
They're spiritually good.
It so annoyed me that like that was not my point. My point is that you're not real. Why are you pointing a finger at your secular friends? So Yerushalayim is the place that we're wishing, if only I could be alive, if only I could be real, if only I'd be connected. I feel so on the outside. I feel like I wish my life could finally begin. And this is what Yerushalayim is all about. Now, what's special about Yerushalayim is that Yerushalayim is the place that when you come to the place of the heart of the world, so when you're the closest, that's when you miss it the most, and that's when you're longing for it the most. Meaning that Yerushalayim is something that you never reach. You never say, okay, you have reached your destination. Destination is on your right. So there is no such thing. When you reach your destination, then you say, oh my gosh, I feel so far. And so this is that is our entry. Our entry to Yerushalayim is that if it's okay not to be okay, and it's not okay to be okay, right? That it's if you think that everything's good, so then you haven't even begun, right? Another Rav Malin said once that it says in the Gemara that kol hatchalot kashat, all beginnings are difficult. So he said, and if it's not difficult, that means you haven't started yet. That means you haven't started. It's possible that it's not. It's possible that it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be difficult, but that just means you haven't started yet. So the entry exam to Yerushalayim, the entry exam to life, you haven't yet reached Yerushalayim unless you feel that, oh my gosh, I'm so far from where I would like to be. Okay. So this is the first point. This is the first point of Yerushalayim, that it's the place of yearning. Okay. Now, I want to speak for a moment about. I'm going to get back to this, but I want to speak for a moment about the name of Yerushalayim. And so the Midrash says, the Midrash in Vayera, it says that where does the name Yerushalayim come from? So it says that we find Yerushalayim mentioned in Bereshis in the Torah twice. Okay, both of them was with Avram Avinu. It says the first time is that Abraham meets this king named Melchizedek Melech Shalem. So Chazal say, Rashi says that Shalem, that's Yerushalayim, and Melchizedek, that was Shem ben Noach. That was the son of the Shem, the son of Noach. So he was the king of Yerushalayim, and he called it Shalem. So the next time that we find Yerushalayim is by Akedat Yitzchak, or the binding of Isaac. So the story is that after Akedat Yitzchak, so Hashem says, so Hashem says that no, don't kill him, and then Vayikra Avram Makom Hashem Yireh. He called this mountain Har Moriah, which is the Temple Mount. He called this Hashem Yireh, Asher Ye'amer Hayom Behar Hashem Yireh. Okay, so Avram called this place Hashem Yireh, Hashem will see, and now, meaning in the future, it is referred to as Bahar Hashem Yireh, the mountain on which Hashem will reveal Himself. Hashem will be seen. Okay, so what does it mean? That Hashem will see. So Rashi says it means that Hashem will pick this place to be the place that He wants to reveal Himself to the people, and in the future it'll be the place that Hashem reveals Himself to the people. So there's this thing about revealing Himself, making Himself be able to be seen. That's the one. That's Abraham called it. Abraham called Yerushalayim the place where Hashem is able to be seen, and Melchizedek, Shem and Noach, called it Shalem, the place of perfection. So the Midrash says that if I call it Shalem, so then Abraham's going to be upset. If I call it Yerushalayim, so then Shem's going to be upset. So what do? So I call it Yerushalayim. So now everybody's going to be happy. Okay, so it's called Yerushalayim Yirah Shalem. Yirah Shalem. So it's clear in the Midrash, Yirah is not the same thing as Yerah. Yirah means awe. Okay, Yirah, we talk about, there's a mitzvah of Yirah Hashem, Yirah Shemayim. Fear. So it's usually referred to as fear. I like to say that it's not, that the fear is actually inaccurate translation. I think that the respect is a better translation, because fear is has a bad connotation, like you fear bad guys. It doesn't make sense to fear Hashem. So respect is a better translation, but it says that there's a higher level of yirah, and that's called awe. In Chassidus, it's called yiras harei, that yirah from the greatness, which is in English is called awe. Okay, so that's so yirah shalem. So now I want to say an idea that I didn't see this anywhere, but I think it's true. When it says Yirah Shalem, when it says Yerushalayim stands for Yirah Shalem, so I imagine that most people would translate that as complete Yirah. Okay, but that doesn't sit well with me, because what does it mean complete Yirah? Like either you have it or you don't. If it's not complete Yirah, so why is it called Yirah? So that's why I think that the correct translation of this midrash is that Yerushalayim is not about complete Yirah; it's awe from completion. It's awe from completion, meaning that when Melchizedek called Yerushalayim Shalem, so what he was really saying is that it's the city of perfection. It's a city of perfection. Okay, I've told you this once, that at the funeral of the Baba Rabba, Zechron Livracha, so there was this black guy that he was like, that he came to the Levaya and he was like mamish bawling, his mamish broken, and so the Chassidim, so they went over. He didn't look like a convert. He didn't look, and so like they're curious. They went over to him and said, "Hi, did you know our rabbi?" So So he said, yeah, your rabbi, he was my man. He was a, and so, remember the story? So he said, so he said, how do you know? So he said, let me tell you. So I'm a painter. So somehow one of the rabbis, one of his assistants, we got my number, and he invited me to paint something to paint the rabbi's house. And so what you call it? So I come on the day. They told me to come, and so the first thing he said was like, hold on, before you start, have you eaten? So I figured he's gonna tell me like there's a diner across the street, so go first eat. I don't want you to be hungry. You want to do a good job if you're hungry. So he says, so I told him, no, I didn't eat yet. So he says, okay, come. Let me give you breakfast. So he comes in. I come in and he gives me this gefilte fish, and he gives me this chalav Yisrael cream cheese, and he gives me this. All this like Jewish stuff, and so after he finished eating, so then he shows me around, and he tells me everything he wants me to do, and he says, okay, just one last thing. So like I'm used to this, like always, like I've had clients that like they have their special request, and they have so he says. So he says, yeah, what's the last thing? So he says, you have to know, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I was offended, and I said, Rabbi, I'm a good painter. What do you mean it doesn't have to be perfect? I'm going to give me I'm going to pay you. I'm going to do you a perfect job. So he says, let me tell you something. Many years ago, us Jews, so we had a temple. But that temple was perfect. But then a temple was destroyed, and since then, nothing is perfect. So I'm sure that you're going to do a great job, but I want you to know that it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So I did the job, and so the next week, so I guess he did a good job because I got his neighbor, so he also wanted me to do a job. So there's another rabbi in Brooklyn, so he calls me up, and so I know the drill. If you eat breakfast before, or else they're going to make you eat the chalav Yisrael cottage cheese, and so like I made sure to eat before, and so I walk in, and like he couldn't care less. He comes to me and he says, okay, let's go. This week you're doing this and this and this and this, and then he says, okay, just one last thing. So I know what's coming. I remember. So he says, I'm paying you top dollar. I want a perfect job. So I told him, let me tell you something. You Jews, many years ago, you had a temple. And that temple was perfect. But then the temple was destroyed, and since that's how he became a chassid. He became the chassidim of color and of the Baba Rava. So this is Yerushalayim. This is the place of perfection. This is the place where the world is perfect. This is everything outside of Yerushalayim. Everything is a little bit off. But Yerushalayim, everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I have a theory. We call this world the world of lies. This world is called the world of sheker. So I have this theory. You've learned in mathematics. So there's this thing called pi. Right? When I was in grade school, they had this the teacher thought it would be a cute decoration to the entire perimeter of the classroom was pi. It was like, I just remember 3.14, but it's like it doesn't end. It doesn't. Like, I remember what it looks like, but what the sign looks like. It's a Greek letter. What?
You're gonna say like actual pi, like something. Like pictures of actual.
No, like it's a number. She has numbers all over the whole thing, and they thought that was cute as a decoration because it was the math room or something. Anyway, so it always bothered me, like so we need pi. It's an important number because perimeter is pi diameter. Right? So it's important. Also mass is pi r squared or something like that. So not mass. No, area is pi r squared. So you need it for math. So it always bothered me. That it's a little bit messed up. It's a little bit messed up. Why did Hashem make it that this formula needs this number which is so messed up? So that there's an interesting thing. It says there's a pasuk in Malachim. It says that when Shlomo Melech made the Beis Hamikdash, so it said that he had a mega kiyar. The kiyar is like the basin from which they would wash themselves. The Kohanim would wash themselves before they did the Avodah. So he had a mega kiyar. It's called the Yam Shel Shlomo. Okay, and it says that it was much bigger than the one in the Mishkan. And so the Yam Shel Shlomo. So it says in the pasuk in Malachim that it was 10 amot from side to side and 30 amot around. Okay, that's what the pasuk says. So the Gra already notes this, that that's not true. It's not if the diameter is 10, then it's 3.14. So it's not exactly. It's a little bit. It's 30. It's 31 something. So how could the pasuk say that it's 30? Right. So the Gra has this whole calculation that because in the Torah it says there's a kav. It uses the word kav but it spells it Kuv Vav Hey, and so he says that the relationship between Kuv Vav and Kuv Vav Hey is precisely the relationship between 3 and 3 point and the real pi. Anyway, but my theory is that the Beis Hamikdash is the world of perfection. So really, when you're in the reality of the Beis Hamikdash, so then when you have something that has a diameter of 10, so the perimeter is actually 30. When you leave the Beis Hamikdash, so then the world is a little bit messed up. So because the world is a little bit messed up, so then that's why there's this little deviation, and that's why pi becomes 3.14. Okay, so the Beis Hamikdash represents the world of perfection. Okay, so now the word yirah. The word yirah, so that's shalem. So that's what Malki Tzedek called it. The world that called Yerushalayim shalem because it's the city of perfection. And Abraham, he called it Yera'eh, the world of revelation, the city of revelation. So now, what's the connection? The word re'iyah, to see, is really the same letters as the word yirah, of awe, right? So what's the connection between seeing and fearing / awing? It's not a word, right? The rabbi is allowed to make up words. So what's the connection between seeing and awing? So to be in awe of something is to see it in a consciousness level. That you can see something, but not be connected to it emotionally. But if you let it pierce your heart, then you're going to be in awe of it. Okay, meaning that I can see something and just be emotionally detached. But to see something and be present, then I'm going to be in awe of it. Okay, so it's really a deeper level. Yirah is really a deeper re'iyah. Okay, so when it says that the Beis Hamikdash, when it says that Yerushalayim is the place Hashem Yera'eh, the place that Hashem will reveal Himself, the place where He will be seen. So that's really the same thing as the place where we're going to be in awe of Him, because that to have awe is really to see in a conscious level, right? So now, so Yerushalayim is the place where we are in awe of perfection, okay, and that's why the Torah says that just coming to Yerushalayim helps a person with the Yerushalayim. It says the pasuk says by Ma'aser Sheni. There's a mitzvah of Ma'aser Sheni. Ma'aser Sheni is that when you have produce, so 10% of all your produce you have to take to Yerushalayim and eat it in Yerushalayim. And so it says why? Leman tilmad liyira et Hashem Elokecha. I want you to this whole mitzvah of Ma'aser Sheni, this mitzvah of taking for the produce and taking it into Yerushalayim in order to eat in Yerushalayim. So the purpose of, I think you need refills. I'm saying you seem a little bit tired. So no, I didn't mean water. So this whole the purpose of the mitzvah of Yerushalayim, the mitzvah of Ma'aser Sheni, is that when you come to Yerushalayim, so you're going to have more yirah. You're going to be more God conscious. You're going to be more, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my God. You're gonna be just very aware of God's presence, and it's gonna pierce your heart. You're gonna have a deep consciousness of the fact that we are living with God. Okay? That's part of the reality. It's part of the reality of coming to Yerushalayim. So now Yerushalayim is the place of that we see perfection. When we see perfection, we are in awe. Okay, we see we're frozen. And then what's the next step? So the next step of when we're at the awe of perfection is that we have a yearning for this perfection. Okay, and that's why Yerushalayim is the place of life. It's the place of yearning. It's the place of longing. Because once we're in awe of this perfection, then it's not enough to just be frozen. So Yerushalayim is supposed to get us moving. Yerushalayim is supposed to make us start thinking like, I wish I could be there. I wish I could get there, and that's really the whole picture of what Yerushalayim is really all about. And so when a person is coming to Yerushalayim, so first of all, he's supposed to feel this awe, that like, oh my gosh, I've never seen such a beautiful thing. I've never seen such perfection, and it doesn't stop there. That if he's normal, so then he'll say that like, I want to achieve that. Like I want to get there. I don't want to stay. I want like you can get somewhere. You can be inspired by somebody and say that, well, that was cool, or you can say that, oh my gosh, I need to get there. I need to be that. And now there's a story. Where there was a tzaddik. His name was Rav Amram Chasida. So he lived in Yerushalayim, and once when he was a kid. So his teacher, he was teaching them about the Lamed of Tzaddikim. Lamed of Tzaddikim is 36 hidden tzaddikim in every generation. That nobody knows the tzaddikim. They look on the outside. They look like they look like simple people, but they could even look like really like gross people. It's just like they're like mirrors. Like if you're a gross person, so then when you see a Lamed Vavnik, you think he's gross. A Lamed Vav Tzaddik, like the one of the 36 tzaddikim. So when you see these people, like they're a reflection of you. So if you're a disgusting person, then when you see them, you're gonna think they're disgusting. If you're a very holy person, when you see them, you're gonna see somebody holy. So he was talking about these Lamed Vav Tzaddikim, and then at the end, they said, like, wouldn't it be amazing if we could meet Lamed Vav Tzaddik one day? And so all the kids would say, yeah, that would be so good. And so this one boy, Ram Chasida, so like he was like spacing out, and so the teacher said, Amram, what, you don't think it would be amazing to meet a Lamed Vav Tzaddik? So to meet a Lamed Vavnik? So he said, I don't want to meet a Lamed Vavnik. I want to be a Lamed Vavnik.
That's spirit.
And so that's what Yerushalayim is supposed to do for us is it's supposed to open up a place in our heart that like, I want to be a better person. I want to be a more beautiful person. I want to be a more connected person. And that's the whole purpose of this perfection, is to get our ball moving, that we should want to achieve this. We should want to be able to get to this higher level. So this is really the yearning of the Yerushalayim Shamata, going to the Yerushalayim Shamata. This is the energy of everything of the city, is that to be dissatisfied with what we are, to be yearning and longing for something better, to be closer, and like a yearning of just that I would die if I wouldn't be able to at least aspire to this. This is like the heart of the world. Like it needs to have his eyes on the spring the entire time, because if he would lose sight of his goal, then he would just cease to exist. And this is like to have perfection, to have an image of perfection which is before us, that through this image of perfection, so we're just yearning, and through this is what gives us life. Like, so a person that to get to this perspective, to get to this mentality, that if I wouldn't be able to at least aspire for greatness, then I just can't continue living. Yeah, I want to be in a bigger place. I want to be bigger. I want to be special. And if I would cease to have this model, this goal, then I'll stop existing. So this is what the feeling of Yerushalayim is all about. So this is really like on Yom Yerushalayim. So it's the most appropriate time to talk about appreciating what it really means to have a Yerushalayim. Unfortunately, on the first day of Yerushalayim, 1967. So there was the greatest disappreciation of Yerushalayim that could possibly exist. That the Moshe Dayan, so he gave back the Har Bayit to the Waqaf, and like he said, like, what do we need this? Like, who needs this? Like, this is a bunch of it's a bunch of please stop. So he had a great disappreciation for the what Yerushalayim is. It's just historical nostalgia. He said he didn't have any appreciation of what it means to have Yerushalayim, and so the tikkun of Yom Yerushalayim, what Yom Yerushalayim is supposed to be, is to be yearning for Yerushalayim, to know that this is the place that when we're there, when we make it to Yerushalayim, so then that's when we wish we could be there the most. Like most people, when you're with them, so then you feel happy. When you're away from them, then you long for them. But Yerushalayim, so that when you're away, then you feel you're okay. Then when you come to Yerushalayim, then you miss Yerushalayim, and you're longing for Yerushalayim. So I bless us all that we should really be able to connect. To really connect to Yerushalayim, to be really the children of Yerushalayim, and to never forget our longing, to never forget this is that we're on this path, we're on this journey, and we're never going to get there, and but it's through this longing that it really purifies us. It's through this longing that really connects us, and it's really through this longing that it's really going to reveal Yerushalayim in the deepest way. Zat Hashem. Chaim.